So, continuing my Couples You Meet in Counseling series, um, so a lot of times couples really do not feel close anymore, but they have no real way to separate. They don't have the courage, they may not have the financial resources, they may want to stay together for the children. It all depends kind of where they're at individually, but I call this couple Mr. and Mrs. Divorced in Spirit. They lead pretty separate lives. They have different friend groups, they have different hobbies, they have different interests. They're like, when toddlers parallel play, they don't really play with each other. They do their own thing in the same room. That's kind of how these couples operate. So frequently the kids, because there's no fighting, the kids think this is just how marriage is, and they grow up and replicate this in their own marriages. They don't really feel close to a partner because they don't really think that's something that's supposed to happen in marriage necessarily. They just look at it kind of in the same business model. This is a business arrangement, so they just learn that marriage is pretty much a business arrangement. Sometimes this couple will separate when the kids leave the house, sometimes due to inertia and fear of change. Especially more anxious or depressed people will just stay together in perpetuity. Sometimes they'll even live separately, or one will just travel all the time and the other one stays home, whether that's ostensibly for work or for socializing. They lead very, very separate lives. Avoidant people, when there's two avoidant people together, or one avoidant and one preoccupied that has given up. So when the preoccupied wife, I see this a lot, when she gives up on being close, but she doesn't want to separate because she thinks it will hurt the children, then couples can become this divorced in spirit. It goes without saying that this is either a completely sexless marriage or pretty much sexless, like, by the clinical definition, less than 10 times a year usually, because there's really just no connection. Can couples counseling help these people? Yes, but they don't usually come in because they're usually so demoralized about the state of affairs there that, and also it becomes comfortable to have your own life completely. It becomes pretty comfortable. So if something happens, like one of them has an affair that's found out, that can be the impetus to get them into counseling. Or, for example, if one of them is diagnosed with something or one of the children isn't doing well, sometimes they can come together over some big issue and decide to kind of make everything, to try to address the elephant in the room of a total lack of closeness. But usually this couple does not even come into counseling. When I see them, though, by definition, they're the more motivated version of this couple. So sometimes they can reconnect, especially if they go through the empathic ruptures and what got them to that place to begin with, do some deep work related to family of origin, etc. But anyway, if this describes you, then you could consider this your wake-up call to reach out to at least an individual therapist who can work with you on why are you kind of allowing yourself to persist in this purgatory without real emotional intimacy.